And Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Space Weather. Welcome to the year 2021, the year of accountability. Will you make people accountable? Will you make entities accountable? We see some B-class solar flares. And besides that, not that much going on. Pretty weak solar activity. Here's a bit of it from the least busted name in news, the Smash News Network. Some minor B-class flaring happened just into the current year here. And what the heck? We got missing data all over the place, by the way, folks. So here's a view from Stereo A, and look at the date stamps down there. It's data from ancient times, days ago. So we'll ignore that entirely. And we do see some ejecta out here, as well as Comet Erasmus once again. Still viewable there on the LASCO C3, part of the SOHO spacecraft. And yes, if you're wondering, I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho, and I did a little bit of grandstanding yesterday for the reason of laughing and laughing and laughing at certain, especially YouTube content creators, who shall remain unnamed. In today's daily space weather video, the 10.7 centimeter radial flux has dropped all the way down to 81. So the sun's output is looking weak right now. There's the 1 year chart of that, and you can see we made it all the way up to nearly 120 in the 10.7. Now we're all the way down to 81. Much closer to solar minimum conditions than to solar maximum conditions. There you can see the context of the radial flux over the past solar cycle, which was a weak cycle, by the way. And there you can see how proportional that is to sunspot number. There are a few other cycles to show you how weak sunspot cycle 25 was. For some reason, we don't have all the data here on the radial flux. I should make a graph of that. Note to self, make a graph of that. Here's the colorized magnetogram. And we actually see some activity on the tail end of sunspot 2795 here once again. You can see that yellow colored field popping up right there at the end of the video. So a little bit of activity going on while we live stream. It's been a regular thing. And here's our first HelioViewer movie. It's a full disc view and 304 angstroms. And we've still got significant filaments, so the coronal mass ejection watch remains. We've got filaments up there as well as down there. As well as on the limbs. So you can see some of them suspended there in the ionized helium view. Here's a close-up of sunspots 2794 and 2795 in an Earth scale. Those flares happen pretty early in the morning. We'll look at those later in the video. But before that, I'm going to vanish, as I've been wont to do. Here's the magnetogram of that area, and we'll show you some more ionized iron wavelengths toward the end of the video. Do you think we should do a Smash Lights segment today? We may do a Smash Lights segment. It's not decided yet. If you're viewing the live premiere on YouTube, for example, or if you're viewing on BitChute, leave us a comment. Let us know if you'd like to see a Smash Lights. And if you want to know what Smash Lights segments are, go check out the playlists. youtube.com/smashamash/playlists. Also check out our own site. We've got all of our contact information there, social media, as well as links to the forum and our stores. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, thanks to our 119 followers over there, we've made it to 119 on Twitter. Also, please don't forget to press like and subscribe on YouTube. take a moment, press like, press subscribe, leave us a comment. I'll wait. That's okay. I'll wait. The place totally isn't burning to the ground or anything. It's perfectly fine. I'll wait for you to press like and subscribe. Also, to press share on your social media. And perhaps you'd like to tell your friends and foes, maybe even your science noobs and your science pros about the channel. Let them know that we may be opening up Lucifer's Luncheonette. You never know. It could happen. We talked to the plumber about the blood fountains and blood showers and blood rivers. So, all right. Thanks for pressing like and subscribe on YouTube. Again, check out our own site, smAsho.com. We've got smAsho.org presents The Sun, parts 1 through 9, directly on the homepage. If you'd like to go check those out, there are all kinds of close-up, multi-wavelength images of the sun. You can link to all that, smAshomash.com or smAshomash.org. Yes, we've got both of those. So, check those out if you haven't done so. Also, we are streaming live to Twitch. It's such a great streaming platform, twitch.tv/smAshomash. Thanks to our subscribers over there. And again, let us know in the comments if you want us to do a Smash Lights today. Let's do a cosmology segment real quick. By the way, we've got a cosmology thread over at smAshomash.com/forum, as well as a whole forum about memes. Yes. Now, I tend to not appear on the screen at the same time as such a hack fraud as that guy. But I don't know if you're aware of a quote. I'll leave that on screen for a moment so you can see the quote. Does that... Are you reaching levels of accountability yet? Again, on the forum, there's a whole thread about it. It's in the Our Content forum. Welcome to the Dimension of the Year, Year of Accountability 2021. Thanks to our patrons. And we're still displaying last month's patrons, as I have not updated the credits crawl yet, which will be changing because our tiers changed. Thanks again to our patrons. Consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/smAshomash. Patrons listed in order of total lifetime contribution. Let's roll some dice, or a die. A 1031-sided die. I've come up with a number of 153 on my quantum die today. And what might 153 be? Well, I have no idea, because never memorize something that you can look up. This one is a variable star known as YY Men. Why, oh, why, men? Why, men? Why, oh, why? It's got a very similar graph here to the Sagittarius A star X-ray transients graph of the same period of time. Maybe it's being affected by the galactic current sheet. In any case, I have no idea where this star is located. Now, some of us believe all stars are variable stars, and I would be one of those people. So anyway, there's a view of YY Men. And let's check it out on Aladdin Light. It may not load here, but it did, yes. Let's see if it shows up in X-ray on the Chandra. And indeed it does not. How about the 2-mass? It's infrared light. And there is YY Men. Why, men? Why are you being a cuck? Why, men? Why, men? I can't get over that. That's great. So, yeah, oh, it's a rotationally variable star. So we've got to study that one in the future. Maybe we'll make a cosmology segment today about just that. But we've certainly had a plan here for about a week to make a cosmology segment just about coronal holes, which will not start the Smash News Network on fire today. But other things may. So, yeah, look for a cosmology segment about coronal holes coming. I've taken a long video to tell you about one that lasted nearly 2 years. Let's get back to some data, some current data. The solar wind, which is missing some data, I might add. But in any case, current conditions are 4 protons per cubic centimeter in terms of solar wind density. And for solar wind speed, 356 kilometers per second. It's been fairly uneventful so far this year. There's the KP index, a measurement of global geomagnetism, which is currently at 1. We looked at cosmic rays yesterday, and we see some oddities here in the geospace magnetosphere movies, where we're missing nearly 3 hours of data. So there you can see some oddities happening there, according to the space weather modeling framework. Did this really occur? I have no idea. It could be problems with the math. So you can see the data jumping there from 7 o'clock until 9:42, nearly 3 hours of data loss. And that happened at around 7 o'clock universal time. So that looks like a big uptick in the density, according to that, despite the solar wind not really showing it. You can see the same thing going on with the pressure, except the pressure weirdly does not go up, despite an apparent large increase in density. So this graph here is literally looking at protons per cubic centimeter, and it's showing high density around the Earth. This one is only showing pressure, and it actually shows a lower pressure at the same time. So that is an interesting, perhaps a bad line of code in the space weather modeling framework, or perhaps some unknown force. Pretty odd. But since there's missing solar wind data, it's very hard. I would suspect that it probably dropped off. And we've refreshed now to the point where we can't see the beginning of that on the pressure. Next, looking at ground magnetic perturbations, right after I vanish once again. And we don't see very much perturbation of the Earth's B field there on the ground. And we're already into the lost data there, so this is after the lost data. And looks like we've got a normal 4 hours here. No, we don't. No, we don't. So again, you see missing data there. Okay, but those are the ground magnetic perturbations that are modeled. Again, keep in mind this is looking at changes in the Earth's B field, hence change, geospace delta B. Changes in the Earth's B field. We don't see any proton strikes here, and no real surprise there. It's something we keep track of at the Smash News Network. And those of our regular viewers would be well aware that we cite any changes in the proton flux. Also, the X-ray flux, something that's monitored daily here. And you can see those 2 B-class flares. They happened at 4:40 and 1:50 universal time. So the sun getting things started early in the year 2021, year of accountability, with X-ray flares, but only some minor ones at a B class. There are the 3 days of the GOES magnetometer, and we see high highs and high lows. And for you new viewers who don't know what you're looking at the X-ray, the magnetometers from the GOES 16, and these are midnight and noon local time for the satellite. So that would be, this is sun facing, and this is sun hidden by the Earth. The GOES magnetometer. And that's measured at the Ionosphere layer. We'll show you a diagram of that later in the video. Here's the magnetic information about the heliospheric current sheet and the Earth solidly in the South Pole. And frankly, the South Solar Polar Field has been looking quite strong. I'm waiting to see updates on solar polar field stuff. I haven't taken the numbers and put them into my own graph or anything like that. We're looking at the top view ecliptic plane field plot here. And if you heard me talking about stereo A at Lagrange point 5 earlier, that's where it is. And that's stereo B, located ahead of the Earth orbitally, but able to see old space weather. So we've got two coronal holes here that are in the Earth-facing vicinity. One north pole, one shown in green, one south pole, one shown in red, rotating in. And we surprisingly don't see a coronal hole wind stream yet from the one that's recently passed the Earth. So expecting that any time, an increase in the solar wind density, then the speed. Here's a line of sight field plot, which also is showing you basically the same data here. The sun's B field is shown in blue, poloidal fields shown as well as a solar magnetogram. And lastly, we'll look at the coronal magnetic diagram, and that's the sun's atmosphere for you new viewers out there. And keep in mind the magnetic data, such as this, is 1 hour and 28 minutes old and can change with absolutely no warning. So here's back to the sun's atmosphere again. And we see a lot less closed potential field surface lines than we saw 2 days ago. Keep in mind, the sun's corona is extremely chaotic. And we're basically just showing you this as a visualization of the chaos. I like to use in-the-sky for star charts. And here's the moon right now, which would be visible if I had clear skies, and I'm not so sure I do. I think it's cloudy where I am. We'll show you a satellite image later. But the moon is just about to move into Gemini and cross the galactic plane, which is that blue line, as it moves across the yellow line, the ecliptic plane. Speaking of the ecliptic plane, here's the solar system view of it. There's where things will be in a week. And it looks like there's going to be a straight line here in between the Earth, Mars, and Uranus, which means you may find your head in Uranus, not knowing the difference between Uranus and a massive radio source at the core of the galaxy. Next, looking at electrons. And I like to look at electrons. Just kidding, folks. We can't really see electrons, not with the naked eye. Anyway, here we have charging hazards, and we don't see any. There's the 1-year graph of the electron flux. And there's the forecast, which you can see here has come down more to what I was forecasting yesterday. Cheers. Yes, some of us understand the physics, which is why we can forecast the electron flux and the weather, I might add. So look for us doing more of that in the future meteorology videos. It's going to be a thing. It'll be a regular feature here at the Smash News Network. Let me just check the life of the stream here and make sure everything is copacetic, and indeed it is. There's no reason to do any jury rigging or any other kind of rigging, hacking, or frauding. Something we frown upon at the Smash News Network. Here's the 3-day electron flux graph, and it's just in a nominal range here, nothing to write home about. Here's a visualization of the total electron content forecast, and we indeed do see some anomalies once again over North America and over Antarctica. They've been regular anomalies, and they're minor, but they could mess up your GPS readings over the US, for example, at certain times of day, especially around noon to 1 to 2 p.m. Here's a visualization, a diagram, if you will, in miles, showing altitudes of Van Allen belts in normal conditions, altitudes of the International Space Station, the SDO, etc., GPS satellites. And here's a visualization of the layers, such as the troposphere, which is where all your weather occurs. The stratosphere, which is where people think there are tanker planes dropping chemicals intentionally into the stratosphere, even though there are no planes designed to do that, or fly in the stratosphere, or drop chemicals, or any sort of large-scale process like that. And that red F over there on the right side, that would be the F layer of the ionosphere, where the GOES 16 is. Here's a visualization of the ionosphere, and we look at it daily because we're interested in the relationship between the physics. We want to understand all the physics, and we see quite a different looking ionosphere here. today, first day of the year of accountability. So we see it heavily charged there over places like India, as well as the Indian Ocean. Evidence of a South African anomaly, as the South Atlantic anomaly has split into two. Were you aware? The South Atlantic anomaly? It's kind of split in two, and there's like a second anomaly down here by South Africa. The two weakest spots in the Earth's magnetosphere. And it does show up on the Ionosphere visualization map. This is part of Australian Government Bureau Meteorology. And here's the latest image. Again, it's looking very anomalous there. We see a heavy amount of charge up in the South Pacific, which is interesting because Hawaii is at the peak of the 666 pyramid. So we'll show you that later. Next, checking what volcanoes are erupting. Karimsky has simmered down a little bit. It's still producing a 5,000-foot plume of ash, though. Please don't attempt to pole vault the caldera. Dacono's exploding. Flight level 070. Popocatépetl exploding, as well as Sangay. 18 and 19,000-foot ash plumes at those. Revenador has dispersed its volcanic ash, and Sabancaya were unable to detect. Please don't attempt a tightrope walk over the Peruvian volcano of Sabancaya. If you're wondering what earthquakes have kicked off in the past 24, there's been a deep one at Fiji, a 4.8 magnitude, which came in at 11:52 yesterday morning at a depth of 564 kilometers, followed by another deep quake north of the one we just reported, a 4.5 at 550 kilometers, and then a 4.6 at 538 kilometers. Interesting. South of the first one, by the way. And what else is going on? Basically a lull in earthquakes. We see an earthquake drought, folks. We see a very low number of 7, 8, and 9 magnitude quakes. There's another deep quake near Fiji, a 4.3 at 511 kilometers. And if you're a new viewer, you may not be aware that this right here is indeed the deep quake capital of the world. The area between Fiji and Samoa. Fiji and Tonga, I should say. So the largest quake of the past 24 was only a 5-point-something magnitude. Again, as the earthquake drought continues, it looks like the 5.4 here in the mid-Atlantic ridge was the largest of the past 24. Deep quake strikes Afghanistan at a 4.1 magnitude, as well as a 4.6 north of New Zealand. 225 kilometers at that one. And we've got to do a video about theories about what the Earth is made out of also. Now, have you seen... See, we keep our YouTube viewers informed. So, do you notice something? You notice something a little bit, kind of a little sketchy going on there. What's up with that? Is Hawaii the all-seeing eye of death? What is going on? What is up with that? Anyway, we're looking at the surface winds here. And we don't usually look at the surface winds, but I was just trolling, so. Here at the Smash News Network, I don't do that much trolling. I do some vanishing before I show you the jet stream. So here's the jet stream of the Western world. And talk about being all over the place. That is all over the place over there. Then look at the extreme meridional jet stream flow here, folks. We got the jet stream blowing north and south over here. It's blowing backwards over the northern part of South America there. It's out of control over there. We see this split once again over the Atlantic Ocean. Bermuda, man. Bermuda. It's a weird place. It's a weird freaking place. I want to go. Leave us a comment if you've been to Bermuda. I don't want to be sitting behind a computer. I want to be going to Bermuda, to quote Cool Keith. Here are the jets. of the eastern world. And we see a lengthy period here of the jet stream blowing backwards, right there, from the central Pacific all the way to the western Indian Ocean. We see backward jet stream flow. How you like them apples? Oh my God, makes you want to start a Luciferian luncheonette. Here's what's going on with lightning in terms of the area around the U.S. and Caribbean. Some has struck the Florida Panhandle and Arkansas and northern Texas and Oklahoma. Here's lightning maps, lightningmaps.org for a real-time lightning map. And if you think lightning doesn't strike twice, think again. We just saw a strike near Ellerslie, Pennsylvania. Or that's Maryland, I think. Anyway, whatever. Heavy lightning here in the central Atlantic. As well as the western Mediterranean. It looks like we have a nasty wintry mix going on here. Southern Illinois, southern Indiana, central Missouri, and eastern Kansas. Some major ice storms could be kicking off in those areas. Let's hope not. And I think Texas has received some kind of record snowfall. Leave us a comment if you have. Texan viewers, send us a photo, go on social media. We'll feature your photographs. And we'll show you how much snow. Anyway, here's the current precipitation model on the GFS model. This is a forecast here. So there's the forecast. That's how that low is expected to move. It's going to make a hard right and start to head due east as it gets to Maine. Mostly rain in the northeast. Here's the forecast for snow on the Euro forecast. Check it out. It looks like, let me go to snow depth. Witty.com's got some great applications, by the way, folks. So we're going to go to, okay, we are on snow depth. Excellent. So check it out. According to windy.com, Texas has like nearly a foot of snow there in West Texas. As well as, it looks like a spot here with heavy snow. 6 inches of snow down there in Mexico. But yeah, over 10 inches of snow there in Texas. Let's take a look at what's going on in the cloud layer. And you can see that counterclockwise rotating low there, which is right over the eastern portion of Oklahoma. Here's another view of that in water vapor. Let's speed that up. Great view of the motion of that system there. We'll zoom in on it after we show you the cloud layer. There's the cloud layer, and there's the water vapor. 3.2 nanometers radiation map. And there's the water vapor map. So we'll zoom in on the water vapor here, right there on the Oklahoma-Arkansas border. And there's a great view for you pornographers. Don't say inland hurricane. Don't say anything a cane. I'm sure it's got a name. Leave us a comment. Let us know what the name of this winter storm is, as if it... Anyway. Major counterclockwise rotation happening there associated with that low, as it's sucking in dry, massive air and creating a massive series of pressure gradients in areas like these, where air travel would be bumpy to say the least. So we've got bonus features, folks. We're going to show you the colorized magnetogram and the intensitygram in between making demonic sandwiches. So we figured out that we have enough time between demonic sandwich making to provide the daily space weather, which is why we're back here at the Smash News Network. Cheers. So there are Sunspot 2794, which is this one, and Sunspot 2795, which is this group. And we see a weakening of the trailing umbra. And some leading umbra there. It's still beta class. The sunspot is degrading overall. Some possible activity kicking up here, but nothing major. No other active regions, really. No other sunspots, at least when I did show prep. So here's a close-up of the intensity grams. And there you can see 2794 looking quite stable here as it makes its setting mode. And sunspot 2795, again, the trailing umbra certainly degrading. Still one significant umbra there on the lead, as well as 3 sub-umbrae. And here we'll show you the last 24 in close-ups in a couple different wavelengths. We've got 171. And you'll see the solar flares in that wavelength. They'll be right around where my pointer is. And here's 131. About 94. And we ain't got no more. So thanks for tuning in, folks. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021, the year of accountability. Welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Stare at the sun, don't drink. And if you do, don't drive. Seriously, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, eyes no, open fear.